Hello, friends. It is a pleasure to join you in this Beyond Growth conference. I want to jump in and ask, what is the shape of progress? In the 20th century, we were told that it is growth, measured in terms of GDP, and that it's endless, so that no matter how rich a nation already is, the solution to its problems lies in yet more growth endlessly. We already know the degradations, the inequities, and the exploitations that arise from centering growth in our economies and must move beyond this vision because it does not serve us. So here's an alternative, a compass for thriving in the 21st century, and this one is shaped like a donut. The goal? Leave no one in the hole in the middle, falling short on the essentials of life, from food to housing to healthcare to social equity, income, voice. These are crowdsourced from the Sustainable Development Goals. They are the social priorities set out in those goals, so widely agreed across nations and the world. Leave no one in the hole. But as we seek to meet our needs and also our wants, we risk putting so much pressure on the life-supporting systems of our planet that we will overshoot this ecological ceiling of planetary boundaries. These are the life support systems that give Earth the resilience to thrive. So the goal here is to stay between the social and ecological boundaries, to thrive in the donut-shaped space in between. It's a very different goal from endless growth, and it's not measured in the metrics of money, it's measured in human and natural metrics, in life in her own terms. If this is the goal, we are very far from this right now, as all of the red in this image shows. Billions of people worldwide cannot meet their most essential needs, and we are overshooting at least 6 of the 9 planetary boundaries. So this is the story that we must turn around. Last century's economic theories were not designed for this, nor were last century's government policies or business models or lifestyles. We need new theories if we are going to turn this story around, and we need new policies, new designs of business and enterprise, new aspirations for living. Let's take it down from the global to the national level. 4 very different national pictures here. Malawi, massive human shortfall without overshooting their share of resources. China has a double whammy challenge of human shortfall and ecological overshoot. The EU 27 still have social shortfall and significant overshoot. And the US, high levels of inequality you can see socially, but also very significant ecological overshoot. Let's place these in a scatter plot of around 50 illustrative nations. The goal for every nation should be to reach that top left-hand corner, the green donut, where nations rise up to meet the needs of all people, but they do so within the means of the living planet. And the first thing we can see here is that there's not one country that should call itself a developed nation. There is nothing developed about overshooting planetary boundaries. There's nothing advanced about that. Costa Rica is closer than any other. Let's also recognize that these nations are not separate like dots on a scatter plot. Their histories and futures are profoundly interconnected, from the history of colonialism through to the current and future impacts of climate breakdown. So we need transformation within and between. Now, the history of pursuing GDP growth generally takes nations on the direction of this arrow. First, rising up as incomes increase, improving social outcomes, and that can be critical at low levels of income. Increasing income is crucial for improving social outcomes. But as nations become richer, instead of moving into the donut, they transform that additional income into ecological overshoot. And so we see this red overshoot amongst the high-income nations. This is the directionality that must be transformed. Can we turn instead to a future of human thriving in which today's low-income nations rise up and meet the needs of all people without overshooting Earth's boundaries as all before them have done? That would be unprecedented. Could middle-income nations reorient towards moving in, meeting the needs of all at the same time as coming back within planetary boundaries? And can today's high-income nations massively reduce their ecological overshoot of planetary boundaries, all of that red, while finally meeting the needs of all of their people, because they certainly have the resources to do so? And this calls for a massive rebalancing between nations in terms of reparations, in terms of redistribution of wealth, in terms of redistribution of power in international institutions. This is a map of transformation that every nation would need to make to move towards living in the donut. Today, we're focusing on beyond growth in high-income nations. So let's just focus there for one moment and recognize that we need to get beyond this dependency that's written into our economic designs on endless growth. We have inherited economies that need to grow whether or not they enable life to thrive. And there's so much evidence that they are not enabling life to thrive. What we need is to create economies that enable life to thrive whether or not they grow. And that is the existential economic question that I believe is at the heart of the Beyond Growth conference and conversation. How do we transform our nation's economies to enable people and life to thrive here, but also worldwide, respecting the rights and well-being of all people and the health of the whole planet? I wish you excellent discussions.